Things Act and 10:4-6 et sec. Notice has been forwarded to the New Jersey Herald. It was posted on the bulletin board maintained in the municipal building and was noticed on the borough website. Can I have a roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Here.
Mr. Falcone.
Present.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Kukovic.
Present.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Here.
Mr. Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Galati.
Here. If you will all join me in a salute to the flag, and if you will remain standing afterwards. We had a member of our community, a longstanding member of our community, Don Bogardus, pass away this month. We all know Don. He's a beloved fireman, police officer. We all know his son, Don Jr. here, and his wife, Dina. And Don was a proud veteran from the United States Army. He was a police captain here in Hopatcon. He was a very well-respected member of our community. He will certainly be missed. Don was also an entrepreneur. He was a hard worker alongside Bogardus Brothers, trucking and rigging, and later in Hopatcon rigging. And Don is just one of the all great people from Hopatcon. Having been here as many years as he has been here, we'll never be able to replace his wisdom, his experience, and just his all-around knowledge of the borough of Hopatcon. He'll be remembered because he dedicated his life to his family and his service to his community. And service to your community means everything, and especially to Don and his family. So if you'll join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you'll remain standing for our moment of silence. Thank you. We don't have any proclamations this evening. Moving on to committee reports. The first thing that I would like to report is that the Sussex County America 250 celebration is this Sunday. It is at the Sussex County Fairgrounds. They will have food vendors and games, reenactments, displays, and they're going to close out the evening at 9 o'clock with a fireworks display. I would also like to do a public service announcement in reference to the Borough Fire Prevention. If anyone is looking to have an inspection from our Fire Prevention Bureau, they need to go online. They need to fill out the application, and this is the important part. The application must be submitted prior to the Fire Prevention Bureau calling you. We're running into issues where realtors are making appointments for closing and completely omitting this part for the inspection from the Fire Prevention Bureau. So we're just trying to remind you, we're going to put some more pop-ups on our Facebook page and our website. This isn't any different than any other year in Hopatcon. I don't know what the problem is all of a sudden with this. We didn't have the issues when we were part of the county last year. We certainly didn't have it any of the years previous. So just a whole service announcement. If you're selling your house or if you're buying a house, please make sure that you're getting your fire certifications, which I believe is good for, I think it was 130 days, was it wrong?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so you have plenty of time to do it. We also have recently been informed that our application for the Borough of Hopatcon, which we submitted for the Senate Appropriations Committee, has been accepted for initial review. As you know, Hopatcon has two sources of revenue, taxes and grants. We do apply for as many grants as we can possibly do, but the awards are getting much smaller and the arena is getting very tough to be able to receive these grants. We appreciate just having the ability to have our application chosen just for the review process. We do invite everyone to attend the observation of the Veterans Cruise, which is on Saturday, we invite everyone to come and participate to show our support for our veterans. We also have another America 250 event, which is happening on Lake Hopatcon, which is the America 250 boat parade on Lake Hopatcon. So this event is something that is new in Hopatcon. We really have only ever had boat parades that were of political nature. This is going to be huge. We already have 43 boats, private boats, that have already signed up for the parade. Not to mention, Miss Lotta is going to be leading the parade from Nolan's Point. We have Miss Lotta, we have the floating classroom, the fireboat, the antique boats, the Coast Guard auxiliary boat, our Hopakon will have their 2 police boats in. And the viewing for this spectacular event, if you aren't on one of the boats, you can view this at the 2 bridges, the one in Hopakon and the one in Jefferson, and the Mount Arlington Beach Club. We do ask you to come and try to be a part of history. If you can get onto the water, onto one of the boats of a friend of yours, that's great. They're asking people to decorate in costumes. They're asking people to decorate their boats, all in a 250 America type of theme. So very exciting on Lake Hopakon. The next Lake Hopakon Commission meeting is on Monday night. That's at the Lake Hopakon Foundation Building at 7 p.m. We do have the Sussex County Senior Olympics this Tuesday, June 9th. Looking forward to our seniors competing. Next week, the administrator and I have a meeting with the other mayors on the lake and their administrators and the DEP. So we're really looking forward to that, just because we do have a new DEP commissioner. With this year being the 250 Celebration of America, the Elks will not be doing a Flag Day parade in Hopakon this year, which is very depressing because it's actually a very wonderful event. But because it's Flag Day, and they are a organization that really does a phenomenal event for Flag Day, they're inviting everybody over to their lodge for 10 o'clock on Flag Day to witness their ceremony that they do for Flag Day. It's going to be bigger and more spectacular than they normally do. The fireworks on the lake are Friday, June 26th. I know that everybody says this is very early, but this is the Lake Hopakon Yacht Club's fireworks, and we're happy that we get to enjoy them because we don't pay for them. So I know that everybody's complaining about the date, but we can't complain about something that we get, which is so joyous for free. If you wanted to see the fireworks, they are at dusk. There are a few places around the lake where you can see them. You certainly can see them from the Nolan's Point area, but we don't have an event place to watch them. The state park is not open anymore at night for us to do the fireworks from, but there certainly is a plethora of events that are happening in Hopakon and around Hopakon. So we ask you to actively help participate in these events, and especially because it's the America 250, some of these events are not going to be coming around again. Okay, do you want to start with Steve?
I just wanted to touch up on Mr. Bogota Senior passing away last week and a half ago. We just had a memorial service on Friday and Saturday. His son's here. If you didn't even know Don personally, like I had the pleasure of meeting him 25 years ago. He was probably one of the nicest, kindest, and softest individuals you ever met in your life. I looked at him almost like my dad, because my dad was like 2 years younger than him. So, but he always greeted with a smile, and he never said no. And he served the community, obviously for a good portion of his life, besides the fire department, police department, and, so just, shout out to, Junior and Dina, for respects, and we'll surely miss him. That's all.
Thank you. John?
The environmental block party, thank you. Had a brain freeze. And we actually gave away all of our seedlings, which was unbelievable. I didn't think we'd get rid of them all, but we did. We had a lot of people also ask if they could volunteer, so we had our volunteer sheet out, which is a good thing. Well, the Environmental Commission and Open Space Committee are always looking for people, especially right now, they're looking for trail maintainers. So if anybody's interested, you go to their website and you can get on there. That's it.
Thank you very much. Jennifer?
For Municipal Alliance, the next meeting is June 15th at 6 p.m. For ambulance, the next meeting is June 16th at 7:30 p.m. at the ambulance department. And for Board of Ed, graduation is on the 11th at 6 p.m. But the last day of school is not till the 15th, June 15th. And the next Board of Education meeting is on June 22nd at 7 p.m. And then I also wanted to congratulate Councilwoman Rodriguez on being nominated as an inspiring woman in Sussex County. She will be honored tomorrow along with the other nominees at Crystal Springs Resort in Vernon during an event hosted by the Sussex County Chamber of Commerce. So congratulations. I also wanted to extend my condolences to the Bogardus family. I didn't know Don very, very well, but I know he's going to leave a hole in your hearts. So that's it.
Thank you. Joe?
No committee reports for me, Mayor, but again, I wanted to echo the council sentiment and condolences to the family here. Don, I personally didn't know him either, but he sounded like just a great individual and a true pack on height, if that's a word, but condolences to you and your family.
Thank you.
No
Anthony?
committee reports, but similarly, my condolences. He sounded like quite an individual from everything that I've learned with many people that have talked about him. So very, very special individual to pack on.
Thank you. Rachel?
I want to begin by thanking all the first responding units in town and around town who did come out and assist with the services for Don. You guys did an absolutely amazing job with the services, and he will be truly missed. I got the pleasure of dealing with him during our NCA meetings, so sorely missed for sure. So I also wanted to wish an early congratulations to all the seniors who are graduating. I know some of the surrounding schools recently held their award ceremonies last evening, so congratulations to all these scholarship recipients to date. I also wanted to wish an early happy Father's Day to those who celebrate. And that is all I had.
Great. Thank you. Ron?
Thank you, Mayor, and the deepest condolences to the family as well from the administration side of the borough. Be dearly missed. Real quick, benefit enrollment is complete. We've gone into Cigna now. We successfully enrolled everyone into the new benefits plans. It went very smoothly because of the person to my right here, Courtney, did a phenomenal job interacting with the employees, going through the plans, making sure that everything was accurate and it was put in accurate so that we can start the process. It was a pleasure working with Cigna. I'm not being paid to sponsor them. I have gone through.
It's like you're right.
I have done probably a dozen benefit enrollments with county and borough employees, and this is the smoothest it's ever been. It was almost seamless. So we get our first bill in August. We officially got the letter from the state that we are officially out of the state healthcare plans effective July 1st. And so we will start our statistical review on the billing starting April. We get our first bill in April. We'll start the comparisons of where we were with the state and where we're at with the Cigna plan, and we'll keep those measurements going.
So not only did you save that 30% increase, right? You got an additional savings beyond that.
Yeah. So the hopes are there that everybody enrolled in pretty much everything they were in, and that was a significant savings. So like I said, it's half year's worth, but it's better than nothing. So we're looking at from July to December in this year's savings, and then to July for next savings. So, and then we go back to the market, and we have options now. We're not held hostage by the state healthcare plan anymore. So that's great. That gives us a lot more ability. Piggybacking on public statements or public announcements, the construction department wanted me to remind everyone, if you got permits that if you're doing work on your house and you're ready for an inspection, you can go online and put in your request for the inspection online, and that will go directly to the department to set up the inspectors. You don't have to come into the borough to do that. You can do that online, and it's a little bit more efficient. So I wanted to put that out there, that process is out there as well. And lastly, I just want to update a little bit on fireworks. I know you guys are here. I met with the chief last week. She's had 4 year-to-date complaints come into the fire department on fireworks. It's mostly January and March. They went door to door with a handout talking about the regulations on fireworks, particularly in your area, what the rules of engagement are. And there's another handout going to be going out pretty soon. They don't want to do it too much back to back, but there's
Jen looked at me. I said it wasn't me this time.
I don't know what that was about, but I do know they went door to door, and they're going to go door to door again sometime in the near future. And I'll keep an update on any of the reports that come out. Hey, Mayor, that's all I have for tonight.
That's enough. That's a lot.
Quick question, just with the fireworks update, I know, is it possible, I know the neighbors in that area had got those notices, is that something that we can also share to the website, just as like a general rule of thumb, so people are kind of aware as to the notice that went out?
We
We're
got
getting
it.
into fireworks season.
We have the chief and I are sending up more of a general notice of
Okay.
update of what the
Mhm.
rules are. That was very specific to that.
Oh,
that
got it.
group. We
Mhm.
wanted to focus in on that area. They are on call to know when a call comes in there, they have immediate response to that area. So we will have more education about that as the years go on, as the time goes on.
Great. Moving on to public comment. Can I have a motion to open to the public?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Extension? Meeting is open to the public for anything.
Hi, my name is JP Schmidt. Obviously, you know why I'm here. I was here in April, told you I would be back in May. Unfortunately, I could not make it in May, so you actually had an extra month to come up with a response. So I do appreciate the letter. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's enough. I don't understand why this cannot be mailed out to every resident in Hopatcong. Just because I complain from my neighborhood doesn't necessarily mean that that's where the source of the problem is coming from, right? Fireworks can be heard everywhere. And I'll be honest with you, a big source of them are coming from the Northwood side of the lake, not my neighborhood, right? So there's no reason why this cannot be mailed out to every single resident. I told you what my plan of action is going to be. If I don't see action from this governing body, I'm going to take action myself. And that's going to be over requesting nonstop. A campaign for people to complain. I will start posting this around town myself if I need to. I will put it in businesses. I will put it on telephone poles. I will put it on social media. There is zero reason why you cannot communicate this to everybody. And for the immediate response, when I do call, I can tell you that I track that. And sometimes there's an immediate response. And again, I don't expect people to be in handcuffs over fireworks. I know the police have other things. But when I see police sitting in the fire department, at the civic center, at the mud hole, and I make a call for fireworks, and it's 15 minutes later, and a police officer drives by at 30 miles an hour, that's doing nothing. Okay? And I've also questioned my neighbors, and nobody has spoken to a police officer about going door to door. Do they have this in their mailbox? Yes. My dad is home all day long. No one came and knocked on the door and had a conversation with my dad about fireworks. So I'm sorry, I'm not saying you're I'm not asking for a door-to-door campaign. I'm asking for educational information to go out. Do I think fireworks are going to be completely stopped? No. But do I think you can curb some of it? Absolutely. It's become a quality of life issue. I'm tired of my nights being ruined. You also, Mayor, talked about how we're going to celebrate veterans, right? We're going to have a veteran parade on the boat. This affects veterans. So show them too that you care. If it affects people who have special needs, show them that you care, right? Not just about dogs. I admit, for me, it's my dog, but it's not because my dog's scared. It's because when my dog gets scared, it affects me. I'm not going to be the guy on 4th of July that's going to tell you don't have your fun, right? This 4th of July is basically a 3-week, it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You know what I do? I go to a hotel in the business section of Parsippany, bring my dog there. I spend $900 to go spend time there because I'm not going to be the guy on 4th of July. But on a random Tuesday, all year long, why do I have to deal with this? Why does this happen in Hopatcong? Because I talk to my friends in other towns. This is a problem that is unique to this town. And as you, as the governing body, I expect you to take action on it. I want to thank Councilperson Johnson and Councilperson Rodriguez. They are the only two who have communicated with me about this. I was here with everyone else. I left the letter. I've heard from nobody. I've seen no action, right? These are the only two who have taken. So I appreciate that. And I thank you for your time and for communicating with me. I don't know if you all have this letter, but I'm happy to leave it with you. Pass it around. Make copies of it. So that being said, I also just want to note too, which I think I pointed out in my communication to you, this is also a public safety issue, right? We are in drought conditions for the last couple of years. And when an entire neighborhood burns down in this town, I can tell you that will be awful, but I'll be the first one here telling you, I told you so. Okay? So again, I'll be back. I'm not going away. And if I don't see action, again, I will start to put into action the plan that I've communicated to you. Okay?
Thank you, JP. All thoughts that you had are concurrent. I mean, I know that we've had this conversation many times. You did mention the telephone poles. Please don't put them on the telephone poles because they'll give you a ticket for. Please don't do that. Didn't want that to happen to you. Anyone else from the public?
Hi, thanks for listening. I'm Robin DiLorenzo. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Airbnb ordinance. I've been speaking with Steve. I sent a email to the council. Thank you everyone for responding. I took a little time just to do some research on other lake communities across the country that are very successful in Airbnb, but they don't require the one condition that we have where you have to be on property in the dwelling with the vacationers, which that's kind of tough you don't want to vacation with your vacationers. So I'm sorry, I didn't realize there were 10 of you, but I made 8 copies. And I pointed out in this, you'll see in the columns, instead of that staying on property, they imposed fines and consequences. And in doing so, they have found that they don't have to have the owner stay on property, because by holding the owner responsible, by making sure, and we have some of the things in the ordinance already, making sure that there's somebody 24/7 that you can reach, that you have the names and things of that nature. But I think we can take that further. Instead of holding it everybody across the board, I think that we can impose some fines and consequences for those homeowners that maybe want a party home. I'd like to take advantage of the Airbnb, but I don't want 15 college kids in my home. I want a couple with family. I want maybe 2 couples that just want to enjoy the lake. They want to go to our restaurants. They want to bring their money into our town. I want to be able to live there in my winters, but maybe help to offset some of my taxes on the lake, right? I know that we have had some issues with a couple of rentals. There was one around the corner from my house as well. I think that we can work with the homeowners to write the proper write-up for Airbnb. So it doesn't read that this is a party house and bring everybody and we're gonna have 6 days of endless banter and fun and all that kind of stuff. So I'd like to see that ordinance changed a little bit and tweaked a little bit so we can have a happy medium for everyone, I think. So if you do I know I'm all over the place, I'm sorry about that. But if you do have these homes that are constantly having the police and the resources being sent to them because they're not following the rules, because they don't respect the neighbors, because they're really just doing it for the money. I think if you look at this fine and consequences column on this sheet and we implement some of this, I think that would be enough for people to take notice and follow the rules and respect their neighbor and do Airbnb in Lake Hopatcong the way it should be, on Lake Hopatcong, in Hopatcong. You know, we look at our restaurants. I've been here 30 years and I wish that we had the community that could keep all of our restaurants in crazy business, but we don't. But we have a lake. And this ordinance really helps us to bring people into the town, using our restaurants, using our facilities, going to the Dunkin' Donuts, getting gas. I think this is a really great ordinance. And I think with a little tweaking, we can make it so we are standing next to Scottsdale, Arizona, and Big Bear, California, and all of these other lake communities that thrive off of the Airbnb and the money that it brings in.
Thank you very much, Robin. We do have your letter under our correspondence actually for this evening, so there will be a discussion. So you're welcome to stay for that if you'd like.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Are we
Thank
gonna be
you.
discussing that like in detail, or is that something we should move to old business to like?
When we
go-
get to it, we'll move this around.
Okay, no, that's the question though, so it will be moved for like, okay.
Anyone else from the public? Yes,
Please.
Tate?
I mean, you missed me in May, I'm sorry. First of all, I wasn't well the first meeting, and the second meeting, I thought it was on the 20th. And when I came here, there wasn't even a sign on the door on the 20th. There just was no cars. And I saw no notice that you changed it earlier. Normally it's later. So I was wondering what happened there. And was I the only one that didn't know that the meeting was changed to the 13th rather than the 20th?
It's moved. We did discuss it at the council meeting in April about moving the May meeting. So I mean, if you weren't aware, I apologize.
I didn't hear it in April, but
Well, we had to because the council had to vote to move the date. So
I'd say.
yeah, it wasn't just arbitrarily moved. It was discussed. So.
And also, it seems like you sent out a notice on the telephone about a little street that probably is 1 block long. You were able to pay for that notice, but you can't pay for the notice to the residents when your meetings are changed. I don't understand. And I brought this up many
You have,
times.
actually, you have.
Pardon?
You have actually brought it up before.
Yeah, I have. Thank you. We are in agreement.
Yeah.
The other thing, one other thing, as I went on the Hapacon, what do you call it? The website. And the only meeting that I saw really represented was from June 25th, 2025. I didn't, and I saw the agenda for tonight's meeting, but it seems to me is after a year that should go. We should see more information that's happening now.
I think he's talking about, are you talking about the little calendar that's on the borough website itself when you scroll down to see the upcoming events?
No, just
That section?
talking about, it had like the whole minutes of the meeting of last year.
All of the minutes are on the borough's website. I was on the.
Where do you
today.
have to look?
You have to look under minutes and agendas, and they're all there. The agenda's there, the minutes are there, the video is there, everything is there. You might just not be looking in the right spot. We can show you where it is though.
Okay, and do you think in the future, we could get telephone messages telling us if the meeting has changed, because it is on the calendar? So if we look on the calendar, we see there's supposed to be a meeting. And then and so if the few times that you change it, it would be nice to let everybody know. Okay, and let's see, the last thing I have is what happened with the guardrail on DuPont that we just put up? I see it looks like it's damaged and it's been down for over a month. Is that in the process of being repaired? And did somebody run into it? And are they paying for it or?
You have to pull the report, Dave.
Pardon?
And then we'll have to put the accident report to find out.
I see. Okay, and I think that's, and in the summer, are we just having one meeting a month? Is that what's happening?
No, it all depends what the month is. We're actually adding a meeting in July also.
Because I only saw one meeting for July and one for June. So we're having one this month?
We have this meeting and then we don't have a meeting until July 1st.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Have a good summer.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, we'll see you at the next meeting.
Hi, Bobby Fernandez, Hopak Kong. I'm here to talk about supporting the New Jersey School of Conservation. I'm asking for your support in restoring full funding to the New Jersey School of Conservation. Governor Sherrill's budget cuts have eliminated funding for the NJSOC, and without immediate action to restore it through budget resolutions number 302 and number 990, this historic institution will close. You might wonder why this should matter to our local council. The answer is simple. NJSOC is our regional resource. Closing it will hurt the local economy because 9 local businesses and contractors have been paid $1.7 million for services. Partnerships with Sussex County ARC, County Library, Project Self-Sufficiency, New Jersey Youth Corps, the County Chamber of Commerce will end. At least 8 elementary schools right here in Sussex County have sent students to participate in environmental education at the New Jersey School of Conservation. Many Sussex County teachers have enhanced their professional development through programs offered there. The relationship and program with colleges will end and 30 dedicated professional employees will be laid off. The School of Conservation, located on a 240-acre campus in Stoke State Forest, is our nation's oldest year-round residential environmental education center. Founded in 1949, it has served more than 500,000 students and educators over its 75-year history. In 1981, Governor Brendan Burns signed legislation designated NJSOC to operate in perpetuity with dedicated state funding. After temporary closure, dedicated volunteers brought it back to life. In October 2022, Governor Murphy signed bipartisan legislation naming Friends of New Jersey School of Conservation as managers. And in May 2023, they secured a 20-year lease to restore the campus and its mission. Here's what I'm asking. First, I urge the council to pass a resolution urging Governor Sherrill to restore full funding to the New Jersey School of Conservation. Second, I encourage our residents to visit the New Jersey School of Conservation website and use their letter writing tool to contact state legislators directly. The School of Conservation is an investment in our region's children's education and our community's future. It's a legacy worth fighting for. I also know that the Sussex County Commission wrote a resolution asking for Governor Sherrill to fund the school. If you would like to have a copy of it, please.
Have it right here, Bobby.
You have it?
Give it to me.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Not seeing anything, motion to bring it back.
So made.
All those in favor? Abstentions? The approval of the minutes, approval of the May 6, 2026 minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The approval of the May 13th, 2026 minutes.
Motion.
All those in favor?
Right.
For the minutes, you don't have to.
Oh.
Somebody, if somebody doesn't want to vote on it, there's the check.
Moving on to correspondence. In the correspondence, there is a letter from Robin DiLorenzo, who spoke earlier in reference to the Airbnb, the short-term rental ordinance that we passed recently. I know some of us have reached out and spoken to several different people about this, realtors, residents. We received more than Robin's letter in reference to this. So what I would like to do is I would like to just add this to old business for this evening and move that discussion to old business.
I'm making it to over.
Okay,
I'll second
all those in favor?
it.
Thank you. The other thing that we have on here is the gas tax escalator in the correspondence, which was an email from Jennifer and a email from Rob Kovic with his sample resolution for the gas tax escalator. Because that was on the agenda, this is a new item. I'd like to ask that we move this to new business to have that discussion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, so we'll move that over to new business. Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. I'm sorry, moving on to, yes, our consent agenda. We have our reports for the tax collector, and we also have resolutions 2026-117 and 2026-118.
I'll second that.
And discussion really quick, for the liquor licenses, are there any outstanding?
No.
And this includes pocket liquor licenses?
These are all the liquor licenses that OPACOM has, yes.
I don't think there are any more pocket liquor licenses. The only pocket we have,
No, Bob got rid of his.
because he opened up rest of the things.
Okay, perfect.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call?
Mr. Bon Giovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
So I am going to acknowledge Captain Lee, who just walked into the room. I know that he has a few words that he would like to say to us, so I'm going to allow him to do that now since he missed our public session just a minute or two ago.
He's not ready. He looks like,
He's ready. He's ready.
Loaded my PowerPoint chart, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Really appreciate the opportunity to come in here and talk real quick. I'm just a captain, but I brought the Admiral. This is the Admiral Tim Meek. I'm gonna let her open it up and I'll follow up with some of the details, but thank you so much for our opportunity to create some excitement about our veterans salute, our salute to veterans cruise on June 27th.
Yeah, we just wanted to, first of all, thank you for all the support. And closing down River Styx Bridge is not an easy feat by any stretch of the imagination, but it is such a wow factor when we come. I understand seeing it from the land side is amazing. But when you see it from the boat side and through all the vets' eyes, it's life-changing. It's amazing. And one of the most amazing things is to see like a young 25, 30-year-old deep in conversation with that vet from World War II or 93 years old. But they take it all in and savor every moment. So we're really looking forward to it. I'm kind of putting a challenge out to every single town. Up your game a little.
just touch up
Give
on
us-
that.
Give us more wow factor.
We had a member from just passed away 2 weeks ago, Don Bogota Senior. And the first cruise that he went on, and when he saw the ladder truck, when we had on the bridge and everything, when he came off that cruise ship and he came to the firehouse, he was full of tears.
Yeah.
He was so joyous, like for him to see that, and the people that surrounded that bridge, it was amazing. And I'll never forget that the moment that you told me that.
You're giving me the chills. I try to each year.
And every year he was looking forward towards that. So, and I know every one of those individuals in that boat
Yeah.
feels the same way.
It's life-changing, and I
Yeah.
try to staff some of our younger college students on board, because that's something you can't learn in a classroom. You learn it through your heart. So we look forward to seeing how you up your game, and rain or shine, we'll be here.
We'll be there around 10:20 is the plan. So you'll see us coming for sure. And as I like to say, we try to make it better and better every year, and we do it together. So this year we're bringing a band to your bridge. Rory Moore School of Pipes and Drums, and they're really cool. The only thing I don't know exactly who in town works on the logistics for the bridge, but whoever does, I need to get them on the bus and get them back to Nolan's Point as soon as they're done. All right. And I'll be happy to talk to whoever it is, just to make sure that we do that. And I will be sharing the itinerary with you, Mayor. It's next week. I mean, everything's kind of buttoned up.
Mhm.
You have 74 folks coming for lunch
Very
at the
good.
Veterans, at the Elks after each cruise. You are all welcome to stop over on June 27th after the Hopakon cruise and have lunch. Just sit at a table with the veteran and the family, maybe listen to them, say something, to show the appreciation. Believe me, the more we do for them, it is noticed. And it's really nice, heartwarming to hear what you just said, because we don't get to see and necessarily hear all that kind of stuff. So thank you for being on time with all that stuff we ask for. You don't know it because you're not on the boat, but there's a slideshow that's put on the boat that lists every service member, where they served, what branch they served, what years they served, and they watch it.
And they wait for their name. I mean, they will wait.
They watch it. So it's just a great day. We just want to say thanks. We want to ask for your help to continue to make it better and better each year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain Lake. Thank you.
Any, yes, that.
Okay, moving on our agenda. I would like to amend the agenda, and I would like to bring the ordinance
You don't know that.
for our cap ordinance, which is 26. I would like to move that up to the beginning of the agenda before the resolutions, because we need to introduce this first before we introduce the budget.
I'll make the motion.
Sorry, which one are we moving up?
13-2026.
Okay.
Send you an email out earlier today.
We have to reintroduce it again because we're reintroducing the budget. Can I have a roll call?
Wait, we need a second.
I thought Anthony seconded it.
I will.
Oh, I thought you did, or was that Joe?
He asked a question. Joe asked a question.
All right, so give me a second.
The roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
No.
Mr. Kusibek.
Yeah.
Ms. Rodriguez.
No.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to resolutions, we have 2026-119, which is the authorization of the budget to be read by name.
I'll make the motion.
Can we have a discussion?
Sure.
So I know that I was not informed, Rachel was not informed, and Joe was not informed that this is a full reintroduction of the budget. It doesn't say it on the agenda, and I'm going to bring up the fact of equal information to all of council again. Making sure that all 6 of us have the same information, because when I spoke with the auditor today, he had told me that we were informed, that I had been informed that this was a reintroduction, and I was not. And neither was Rachel, and neither was Joe. I can't speak to the other 3. I can make my guesses, but we were not informed that this is a reintroduction.
So my question about this is, I know to read it by title only is just so we don't actually have to go through every line item that's on there, but given the financial constraints we're in this year, why don't we? Like, why aren't we taking the extra time to actually go through the budget in its entirety in public to talk about everything that's happening? So everybody has the same information and the public is opted for the discussion as well.
I'm going to answer that with the budget is the same budget that you've had since April. It's the exact same budget that we reintroduced last time. The only reason why we're reintroducing it is because we did not do the ordinance before we did the budget last time, so we're required to do that. There isn't one thing that's changed in this budget since the last budget. And the reason why we're not going through line by line is because when the auditor was here, and we've all received the email from the auditor where he said there is nothing else that you can do to the budget. You cannot cut the budget at all, because if moving forward, it's going to affect services for the borough in 26, and it's going to have a great financial impact to the budget going into 2027, because we won't have any extra monies that might be there for 2027 where we have to do a budget like we're doing now, where we're passing temporary budgets. We won't have the money to do that. In all my years of being involved, I've never seen an auditor write an email that actually says, you cannot cut your budget any lower. It is detrimental to your services and detrimental to your town to do it. So that is why we're not going line by line. As for the information that is on here, again, is the same exact budget that we always had since the very, very beginning. And I know that there's been a lot of questions asked about the budget just recently, but again, it's the same budget that we've all had for several months now.
So the state reviewed this budget and they rejected it. Is that correct? That's what happened, because there was a clerical error that was made and it has to be reintroduced because it was sent back. That was the reason that I was told by the auditor. There was a clerical error and it was rejected and has to be reintroduced. That's accurate. That's from the auditor. That's the reason why it needs to be introduced.
I'm not going to
answer to my question was, it needs to be reintroduced because it was rejected by the state for an error that was made that needed to be fixed.
What was there?
I think it had to do with COLA calculations is what Ray had said to me on the phone.
But I think it's the cap bank ordinance has to be introduced before the budget.
That's the error.
So you have to have the cap bank ordinance, because if you're exceeding the cap and your budget has that in there, then you've got to do that first. So apparently that was done second.
Right, but I guess,
So,
yeah.
I mean, it was done, but this.
I guess, so that, I mean, my opinion, that should have been communicated to all of council that the state rejected it, right? Were you guys aware that the state rejected it?
Were you aware?
Yesterday,
Were you aware
Yesterday was when we met.
using it today?
again, what I was told, it was the same budget. It's just that there was an error, or for the state rejected it, and just, again, we could go and not propose, like, move forward with it. It's a budget.
Absolutely.
So we have a choice to, it's a proposal. It's introduction of the budget.
Mhm.
So I don't think it's a big deal, but we could certainly make it a big deal. I think there's a concern that there was an error made, but
That's not the concern, that the errors are made.
Well,
The
it's true.
concern is that there is not equal access to information. When you were called to be told that it was being reintroduced because it was rejected and there was a mistake, the cap bank, whatever, the rest of the council should have been informed of that information, is what
I
I'm
don't know when
saying.
the information came out. I think I have no idea when the administration had this information.
I think the point, Steve, is either if it came out 20 minutes before the meeting, everybody should have been.
I can't argue that.
No, we can't argue that. Again, I know I had a conversation with Steve yesterday about it, so it's not like everybody had a ton of information. And again, there wasn't an error. There was the issue with the introduction of the coal ordinance.
Was Steve the only member of the council that was notified?
I spoke to Steve as the council president. Yeah, that's the only person that I spoke
We
to.
introduced the ordinance.
Did you ask Steve to disseminate the information down to council?
I don't think that we had that conversation now.
Okay, yeah, so the other reason why I really wanted to go through the budget in its entirety, I know May 15th is when we got the updated. I know capital items were amended by the administrator because he said he would handle that for us. Thank you, Ron. I have not had an opportunity to get my questions answered because getting it May 15th, going through it, I requested a meeting to discuss the budget, and to date, my email has not been responded to or acknowledged. So I've not had an opportunity to have discussions that I'd like to have, and I think some of these discussions can't happen on the days because of certain things we can and can't discuss in public. So I won't speak to them now, but I think it's just very frustrating, again, to vote on something in good faith without understanding or knowing every attempt at cost savings have been attempted to be made. So it's just a little frustrating.
I'm going to go back to the auditor's email where the auditor has said there is no place that you can cut the budget. The two line items that have made our budget the increase that it is, which nobody is in favor of because nobody wants an increase whatsoever. But our budget is only $350,000 or $360,000 in the 2025 budget. Our budget is a bare bones budget. We have no extras, nothing. It's flat. The budget is absolutely flat. And our increase, as you know, from the auditor would only be 2.5% for that $350,000 if we didn't have the increase in the health insurance and we didn't have to add into the tipping fees, which makes both of those well over $1 million. Because we cannot cut $1 million out of the budget to be able to allow the budget to even go down a percentage. That is why going through the budget line item by line item at this point in time is not something that's going to be advantageous for the borough to do, especially time-wise. Because again, there's nothing that we can cut that's out of here. Cutting $2,000 here, $5,000 there, $7,000 there. We asked the auditor point blank yesterday, if that was an issue, could we do that? And he said, absolutely not. And again, we all have the same email where he's telling us, the budget cannot be cut any longer because the cuts that we have made so far puts any further budget cuts detrimental to the borough's operation spending and its future financial plan. You can't get any more clearer from the auditor, that's our professional, where he's saying you are at a rate that you're at that's unfortunate, but you cannot cut your budget any lower. It's going to affect your services for 2026 and your services for 2027.
Oh, that's fine. I just want it noted on record again. I request.
But I think what she's saying, what you're saying is like two different things. Because the auditor just does numbers, right? What she's saying, she wants to cut services. And because that's what, well, but when you're cutting the budget and you're taking out the money out of the budget, you're cutting services.
Yes, you're cutting unnecessary spending.
But
Well,
no, I think
unnecessarily, like.
That's not true.
That's what we're suggesting.
Well,
my underlying concern is that I request, as a
No,
sitting
you
council
didn't
person,
answer
right,
the
exactly.
Questions, 100% agree with that. I think yours email got responded to, right, with the 11 question
Yeah,
marks
yeah.
regarding budget. But I think your email should got responded. I mean, that's a reasonable request. But I do think budget is a budget, to me, that's.
Understood.
What's the plan with the increase, right? We're raising taxes 2 years in a row now. What's the plan? What are we doing with this? How are we reinvesting the tax dollars back into the community? Because last year I was in favor, right? We went several years without the tax increase, and look outside your window. And you can see the reason why, right? We have poor roads, we have horrible sidewalks, we have facilities that look like jail yard. Motic Park looks like a jail yard facility. So what are we getting? What are the taxpayers getting for a tax increase? What's the plan? Do we have an action plan to put these dollars to use?
So for 2026, our dollars that we have in our 2025 budget are identical to our budget in 2026, except for fuel costs that we've increased the budget for and other incidentals that do go up that we have to pay. Extra postage, fuel has gone up and whatnot. That's where the increase of the $300,000 plus comes from. The other $1.1 million, $1.2 million comes from those two specific items. We have absolutely no control over those. Can we reinvest that 1.1 million? No, because they're paying for these bills.
So we're raising taxes just to stay afloat.
We're raising our taxes so that we can pay those, two bills.
That's a bad way to run a business.
And we've kept our, again, we've kept our expenses as low as we possibly could. We do have a slight increase. Nobody wants their taxes increased, but it's not like we're in a position where we can raise taxes just to be able to do something with our money, which we really can't do anyway.
Well, I mean, that's really one of the reasons why you raise taxes, right? Because you want things, infrastructure, facilities, right? You go around these other towns that have raised taxes year over year and you see the dollars in front of you, you see things getting done. So if we're raising taxes 2 years in a row and doing nothing with it, then we have to look at
raising more taxes then.
No, absolutely not. You have to look at what you're doing with the dollars that you have. I understand costs go up. We all understand that, but 2 years in a row without a single enhancement to the community is just.
Well, I think we've had
totally
several.
I'm all for, listen, it's not very Republican of me to say, I'm all for raising taxes, but if I raise taxes and I can give you a brand new park where people aren't driving to Landing, right? Or if my kids could walk on sidewalks where they won't sprain their ankles, I'm all for it. Reinvest in the community. That's how you run a business, right? You raise your prices and you update the facilities, right? That's how you keep people in town. That's how you keep people happy with their community, happy with what they're seeing. I can't see doing this year over year and then giving the community nothing back in return. Just saying, we're going to keep spending the way we're spending. We're going to keep raising your taxes and you're going to get nothing for it.
Well, I don't think that that's the case, Joe. I think that there are things that have happened in Hopatcon that are positive things that are happening in Hopatcon. There are things that are getting done. There are things that are getting repaired. There is paving that's getting done. There are things that are happening. It's not that there's nothing happening. Is there a specific plan moving forward for recreation, or whether or not there's a plan for something that the municipality is going to create? Or whatever. Yes, those are all discussions that we can possibly have where finance is concerned. But when you have $1.1 million in just two expenses that came out of, kind of left field, because again, we weren't aware of the health insurance going up. And as for the tipping fees, those needed to be budgeted in properly. That's where we are. And it's unfortunate that we cannot have any other monies to be able to do anything else with, but we have a responsibility to keep doing what we're doing to make sure that we're giving people the services that they have. We're doing everything we possibly can to keep the services exactly the way that they were. And if we can improve services, of course, we're going to improve services. If we can make some plans for 2027 to be able to do something that's fabulous, of course, we want to do that. Nobody wants to not do that. Nobody wants to raise taxes and not have anything fabulous to show for it. But we certainly have responsibilities here, being the stewards of the town of our dollars, making sure that the services that we do give to the residents, we're going to continue to provide year after year after year and improve upon those services if we possibly can, and improve upon whatever infrastructure we can in the town. But we have to have a plan for that. We can't sit here at a meeting where the budget's in front of us and say, gee, we really should be doing something else with the budget. We've been doing the budget for several months.
We've been asking questions for several months.
Finance committee, I am very happy to sit down with you. We can walk through everything in the town, line by line. We could see together where we could make cuts that don't take away from services, so we can use some of those tax dollars. Now, I've been through it. I'm not seeing a lot of fat there, but I'm happy to go through it with you. And maybe you'll, looking through a different lens, maybe you'll see something, but I'm happy to go spend the time to go do it with you.
I don't understand, and maybe this is just stupidity, but for example, my kids play soccer in Mount Olive, right? You drive through these towns you go through these places and all these facilities are constantly being updated. And for some reason, Opakon continues to be the outlier where everybody else has figured it out.
I'm not so sure that everybody else has figured it out. These are extraordinary years that we've been going through right now. And I think everybody has really been dealt the same cards in terms of incredible increases, with inflation and everything else. It's really been difficult to deal with. But again, if you think that we are wasting a lot of dollars, I am happy to spend the time to go through that with you. I've been through it, but you have a different set of eyes. So maybe there's things that two of us can come up with that will make some sense for next year, so we can take some more dollars without raising taxes and put it against some improvements in the town.
Yeah, that's great. And I totally hear you with some of the roadblocks that you've been hit. And I would assume all other towns are being hit with those same roadblocks. I see things getting done and I haven't seen anything.
Well, let's work through let's work through it. We've got a few months now before we have to get started.
We're gonna be talking about this budget in another month.
Let's work through it.
Hey, Joe, well, by the way, last week I had an opportunity to set up for the funeral service that we're providing. And I end up washing all the trucks in Northwood Firehouse number 2. The one truck that we washed was 40 years old. Okay, it was rusting. It was old, 40-year-old vehicle, and that's being replaced in a couple months with the new vehicle. The one next to it's 30-year-old. That was all rusted. Like you can just see the main on is not taking care of the building. Everything's so old.
Worn down.
And run down. So the 6 years that we had 0% increase, that put a strain on it. The last 2, but I could always remember all the time when my father says, you have to be a farmer, right? You don't just wake up one morning and say, what did I plant? And like in July, like you have to like start planting like early on, know what you're planting, and then treating that and watering that. And then in July, when it comes up, then you already know what you got planted. So this should have been done last year. This should have been done the year before that, through committees, sitting down and having a plan in place to maybe avoid some of these issues.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Remember the point when I had asked several times last year for this council, this governing body, to have work sessions, to align ourselves on future projects, to instill a plan. So when our new administrator started, his job would be easier because he knew that this governing body was on the same page. X, Y, Z. Those are our priorities. Those work sessions never happened. I didn't ask once, I didn't ask twice, I asked countless times. So to say that there is no plan in place, we've tried. We've gotten shot down. So yes, I'm extremely frustrated. I'm not trying to yell at you about it. But to say there's no plan in place is a disservice because we've been asking to make plans and those we haven't been met with the same reception of wanting to make a plan.
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying too, right? But I feel like every year we're gonna start fresh next year. We're gonna start fresh next year, right? So now we're already looking at 2027. So 2 years I've got. Nothing has been done, right? We're just keeping the water at our chin. That's all we're doing, right? When it gets a little bit higher, we just raise taxes and lower the water level a little bit so we don't drown, right? So next year now we're going to be on year 3 that you and I will be on council. And again, I disagree with the mayor. Nothing of value has been done, right? There's been no major value enhancements made to the community.
I also have one last question about the tipping fees. Those tipping fees were received in December of 2023. That bid was received, correct? December-ish 23.
We
were advised.
He wasn't here for it.
Right. Well, no, neither were we.
Right.
We were advised in January of 24 that was first off the only bid, but that we should absolutely take it, that the contract was amazing. I think I have an email from the former administrator saying we should take it. I remember Ray being here and telling us that, that we were like $500,000 or $700,000 under everybody else. If you looked at the contract from Suburban, it very clearly states that it did not include the tipping fees.
Page 33.
Right. So not only did we as amateurs in looking at a contract, it was like one of the first things that in 2024 that council did. The administrator and the CFO also missed that in there. Is there any recourse that the borough has to get that money back? Because it was very clearly, I don't know, ignored.
I'd
I was
rather
told
not
to
have that
ask the
discussion.
attorney.
in
Okay,
exec-
got
Yeah,
it.
I'm not gonna,
No, no.
do that public
Okay, but
session,
just put it in
but
your-
let me, take a look at the contracts
it.
and then I'll report back.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to put it
I
on
haven't
your
seen the
radar.
contract, so,
Mhm.
but I will look at them and I'll report back.
I want to know if we have any recourse to them.
Understood.
Thank you.
So before we move on, I'm going to completely disagree with where we're all talking about that nothing is happening in Hopatcon and nothing is being done and nobody's had conversations. Every group and every committee that everybody sits with has the ability, whether it's the fire committee, the police committee, or whatever committee that you sit on, the finance committee, to bring everything and anything that they have to the administrator. Everybody sitting in every seat up here has the ability to reach out to the administrator and say, hey, I'd like to do this. Hey, I'd like to do that. They can send an email, they can do it in person, they can do whatever it is that they want to do, so that the administrator can start doing some research and see whether or not it's something that's conducive for here. He can run it by whatever the committee is, the committees themselves, the fire committee, where we waited forever to get a fire truck. So whatever the fire committee is looking for moving forward out of the firehouses, they certainly can have that conversation with the administrator before everybody sitting here as the governing body has. And we talked about not having the work sessions until the administrator got here. So we knew exactly what was happening when we got here, because the administrator brought everybody back up to speed, because we did not know everything that was happening in the borough when the previous administrator left, because there was a 2-month gap in between. Having different administrators and having holes all over the last 2 years has been absolutely detrimental to the borough. Whether you want to agree to it, whether you want to point fingers, whether you want to do whatever it is, it's irrelevant. We are in the situation that we're in. We have to be able to move forward, and pointing fingers and saying that, there was no meeting, there was no work session. It's irrelevant at this point in time. We were not going to do work sessions until an administrator got here, because that was the important thing to do. So with this budget that we have a very conservative budget that has been given to us by our auditor. We had our presentation. Does it have a bunch of bells and whistles for us to build a field? No, it doesn't. Is that very sad? Yes, it is. Do we want to increase the taxes just for these $1.1 million for these 2 items? No, we don't. We'd rather increase it $1 million to do something nice and fabulous for the town. But that's not where we are with the budget that's in front of us. And as stewards of the town, we are responsible to make sure that we keep all of the services for our residents happening continuously at all times. We have a motion in a second.
Yes.
Can I have the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone,
No.
Ms. Johnson,
No.
Mr. Kukovic,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
No.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
And the time.
Seeing that there is a tie, I am not thrilled with the fact that we have to increase taxes. I am not thrilled with the fact that we are not doing anything spectacular with our increase that we have, and we're just kind of paying our bills. But I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to vote to move the budget forward, because again, we have responsibilities to make sure we keep the lights on and our services for our residents. Moving on to 2026-120, authorizing an emergency temporary appropriations for the year 2026 for the current budget.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone,
This is the town budget, Joe.
This is 2026-120.
yes.
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 Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Moving on to 2026-121, authorizing a temporary budget for the year 2026 for the water and sewer utilities.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
And roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone,
No.
Ms. Johnson,
No.
Mr. Kukovic,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to 2026-122. Authorizing the emergency temporary appropriation for the year 2026 for the water and sewer utility budget.
Motion.
Second.
Can we talk about this? What is this? This is temporary appropriation. The emergent condition. I got it. Okay, never mind. Understood.
So this includes the whole Bell Lab situation.
This is just giving us a budget to keep the lights on until we get the budget approved.
Has nothing to do with Bella.
Just, what number are we on?
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's the temporary budget
122.
For the year 2026 then for the water and sewer utility. We just did that.
We did
What's the difference in
121.
the
No,
two?
they're separate.
You did
What happened
121.
was, we had some money available still in the regular temporary budget, we've been doing all along. So as informed by the state, we have to use up the temporary budget and then approve the emergent condition because the budget has not been adopted yet.
Got it. Understood. Thank you.
The motion second.
Yep.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone,
Yes, it is.
122, yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusvik.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to 2026-123, authorizing a temporary budget for the year of 2026.
Motion,
Second.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
yes.
Mr. Falcone,
No.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Kusvik,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. 2026-124, approving the application for the NJDOT for 2026 for the local transportation projects fund for the catch basin upgrades.
Motion,
Second.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusvik.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Moving on to 2026-125, the award for the 2026 NJDOT Municipal Aid Resurfacing to Tilcon.
I'll make the motion.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusvik.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to 2025 dash, I have two 2026s.
26.
26.
Two 26s, 126. 2026-126. This is a award to NJDOT Municipal Aid Resurfacing for Denville line painting.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusvik.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. 2026-127, 2027 NJDOT Municipal Aid Grant Application for Harris Ave and Kiner Ave.
Make the motion,
I'll second it.
Discussion.
Sure.
Right, 1 second. So nothing will be done until all the paving is complete.
Well, this is for 27 grants for those roads that we might do that are finished. But this is for the application for the 27 monies.
Okay.
We gotta apply for it. Ask for it. Beg,
Exactly.
And are we, who's doing the grant application first?
Rusky. Our engineer.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusvik.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to resolution 2026-128, authorizing.
I was prematurely gonna say motion. I'm sorry. Stop talking because you weren't done. You weren't done reading.
2026-128, authorizing the CFO to reserve funds for interest on the LoSAP.
Motion.
Discussion,
Second.
discussion. Who came up with this number? Like, are we like, I know last year the LoSAP was deposited, but in the years past there, also the CFO made a mistake on LoSAP deposits. So is there gonna be like a cutoff day, or are we just picking just the different, this scenario alone as an individual?
This was just to pay the interest that was lost because of that.
Yeah,
We're back
the
into
missed
that,
deposit, it was authorized in December, late December. I know exactly the scenario, but so in the past, the CFO never properly deposited the funds to like later on to like October, November, August. So are we just like doing it just for this scenario or going forward, we're gonna make sure one of the first deposit or when we approve the budget is the LoSAP.
Right, we have
funds.
that, well, there was misinformation given, so the people who didn't have it on a timely basis, they're gonna get interest. But I've been reaching out to Lincoln Financial because they have mutual funds and I could just get any interest. I'm trying to get a confirmation from them as to what interest I should use, so it's just fair across the board. So, but in order to do that, I have to reserve some money to put aside, so we have that put aside for the interest.
You're allowing her, with this resolution, you're allowing the CFO to put the money aside to be able to pay the interest to LoSAP once we get the number
Yeah,
of
no,
the.
no, I know what it- I
One-time
know
deal.
what it does, but also we had in the past, we had a member being deposited from another member and that money was never retrieved.
No, that money's all been given now, we're just trying to do the interest.
Yeah, no, I know exactly this particular incident. So the Lincoln is gonna tell you what these.
The interest is
number, the
right,
interest
because
rate.
they have mutual funds and it varies.
8 members or 7 members, right?
I should think it's only 3.
I think it was 7 or 8.
There was more, yeah, there was.
Yeah, it was more
I
than
don't
three.
know, because I believe that my assistant was actually corresponding with them, and I believe what happened to be 3, we saw the.
Well, whatever it is, whatever the amount is, it should be, make sure they're all covered, but I do believe it's 7 or 8 total.
Maybe we confirm that with fire and the ambulance
But I
department.
think that she did though, actually.
Well, we can do it again,
Yeah.
right?
No. But if anything, if that's the case, the money's set aside, so, I mean, the interest is not gonna be that much on $1,000.
Well, it should have been deposited in a timely manner.
Well, can't help someone's giving misinformation.
Well, this is the idea of fixing it, because again, we don't wanna, short on first responders. We wanna make sure that they have everything that they're entitled to.
Would it help? So in an effort to not have to set aside funds, if we actually fully funded LoSAP and not just funded the portion that we typically pay out based on the department submissions, if we fully fund LoSAP, then we should have,
What do you mean fully funded?
Not fully funded at 1.5 points. In your budget, it's not.
so like in
funded at
previous
1.5
budget, in previous
points.
budget years, like I think our first year on council, when we were going through the budget, we took money out of LoSAP to put it somewhere else, because if you look historically, we only pay out like 100,000 or whatever it is.
It's
So
less
the-
than 100,000.
Right, exactly. So money was moved from that line item to something else. But if we actually funded it at what it's supposed to be, then there should be money set aside, no?
I'm talking to somebody.
Yeah, yes,
You can't-
please.
You cannot transfer international.
No, I'm just saying that happened, okay, well, that happened not with you.
And
No.
within the budget, what happens, if you don't use a certain line item, it falls into fund balance.
Mhm.
So basically, you're putting a certain amount into LoSAP. And the 1.5, when I redid, I didn't redo the ordinance, I just made a reference as to what 1.0 is about actually, the tax assessment.
Mhm.
A point, that was only a reference. So if you wanted to have 1.0, 1.5, you could definitely do that. I made a reference in the resolution as to what a tax point would be.
Mhm.
Because many years ago, our tax point was much lower. It's much higher now. So it was only a point of reference. So it's not that, it's not fully funded for any reason.
Right, but that caused, a lot of people made panic of that, which I do agree. We never exceeded over 100,000, but eventually you probably will, because IRS keeps moving the numbers up and everything. And if we have a healthy membership, then you might, but that caused havoc, but it's there. I mean, I don't personally think it needs to be addressed. This needs to be addressed, and that's it. The money's always there. It's just a matter of properly depositing when it should be not wait till like December 15th and say the money's missing, what happened? That shouldn't
You
happen.
have to understand, a lot of times when we give the check to Lincoln, it takes them a long time to deposit, and we have no control over that.
No, but I think last year it was a different scenario. It was a different scene. I
Okay,
don't-
we have a motion and a second? Okay, go ahead, Courtney.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to resolution 2026-129, authorizing the CFO to compute the estimated tax rate and authorizing the tax collector to prepare estimated tax bills for the 2026 year.
Motion.
Second,
Can I just ask a question? I don't remember ever seeing this resolution before, ever. Is this a new thing?
It's a new thing because the budget is so late and we want to get our money in.
Gotcha.
So I examined the cash flow and it's just precautionary measure, so we could have enough funds to
Understood.
operate.
Because we'll have a cash flow issue with the budget being as late as it is. We have a motion in a second?
Yep.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Moving on to 2026-130, authorizing an agreement with Mariners Point to provide the essential statutory services.
Make the motion.
No second.
I have some
Discussion.
questions.
Yeah, really quick. Can you just look at this real quick from the price, right? This is 4 years, that date to that date. Shouldn't it be January 1, 2027 to that date? It's to be 2 years.
And so have four.
Yeah, so on the contract, the term of the agreement, it says shall be effective January 1st, 2026 and be for a term of 3 years expiring December 31st, 2029. So should that be effective January 2027? And then 27, 28, 29 is 3 years?
The old agreement ended at the end of December.
Right.
It'd be 28. If it's 26, 27, and all of 28, it'd be December 31st of 28.
First page towards.
Right.
It says read that in, it's all 28, no, 6, 27, 28, yeah, it should be December 30 to 28.
All right.
So we can do the,
Motion as amended.
Yeah.
yeah, we can amend the motion to have the contract read 28 instead of 29.
So December 31st, 2028.
Yes.
Then I have some questions that I put together at the last minute, so I apologize that I didn't email them. The borough engineer, has he inspected and determined the total mileage for the community for snow removal? And has Judy finalized a per mile cost for snow removal to include gas, actual plowing, and staffing? Over the rhyme or reason for required to provide the lighting reimbursement, does this include the electricity costs, not the pole maintenance? Why would leaf pickup not be done in-house twice per year on a set date, like we do for the borough? And will the final agreement come before us for approval before it's implemented?
Then I can't even remember all the questions
I
you
know.
guys said, so that was a lot.
This is the final agreement?
You've apparently been paying this and you've never had an agreement, so this is the first, this is being reduced to writing, so.
This has been looked at by the borough engineer,
Absolutely.
so we don't have any actual costs then of what this costs us.
It's a numeric value to put in
It's
the
a fixed
contract.
cost. It's a fixed cost for this, the snow removal.
Yeah, the only
Correct.
variable is how many events we have. That's the only variable.
Yeah, because it's a Kelly Act requirement. So when you have a condo association, we have to provide what it would cost us to plow the roads and do whatever the service is. So it's much more expensive for condominiums and townhome associations to pay private individuals because we just have to reimburse on our costs, but it's a state law.
Oh, no, it's a state law,
Yeah.
but I'm just asking if we've calculated the.
Yeah.
You had to.
Yeah.
Because they wanted a lot more in the rate than what we calculated in the rate. They wanted a lot more in the rate. So we went back and did the actual math and mileage, salt, material, equipment.
So do we have that cost?
I don't see a cost.
I don't see a cost.
It says not to
Yeah,
exceed a
that's
cost,
what I was
but
gonna-
I don't see a numeric value in here.
It's per event. So
It's gonna change, it's variable.
yeah, it depends on how many events we have, how many times we go out on an event. Just like
So the final agreement should not list dollar amounts.
Well, we can hold this and make sure we answer all your questions.
Okay,
So
and
I
I'll
don't
email
think
them,
it's-
and I
They
apologize,
haven't had an agreement and
since it's been built. All right,
I do agree. I think we should put on hold until we get to the numbers.
so then we have a motion in a second, and I motion.
We have like 3 motions on this
Yeah,
one. So
yeah, what was it?
motion to table?
You made the motion first?
I didn't make the motion.
Oh.
Somebody made the motion.
Whoever made the motion.
made
You have a problem changing it to a motion to table?
No.
No.
So table.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
They're looking to get paid.
Yeah, they've been looking to get paid for a while, but
So I just wanna, make you aware of that.
council's got to have their questions answered, understood.
They've been, badgering me.
Okay.
Can imagine for one more month.
Okay, moving on to the bill list.
You have to
Resolution.
roll call it.
I'm sorry, the roll call for the table.
Give them my number, I'll answer that.
The roll call for the table.
We need,
Mr. Bongiovanni?
Your motion, don't
Yeah, and we made one.
You seconded it.
You seconded it to table it.
So, yes.
Mr. Falcone,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
we? Yes.
Thank you. Now we're moving on to the bill list 2026-131, authorizing the payment of bills.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic. Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. So we have a final reading on.
Which one is that? Sorry, I'm writing notes down.
The sale.
Are we tabling the sale or?
No, you're authorizing it.
Okay.
No, we're authorizing it. It's just, this is the final reading. We're gonna
Okay.
keep it on the 15th.
Oh, that's right, that's
We're
right.
gonna have the other meetings.
You're right.
Keep it on the 15th.
You're right. I was thinking about moving it
No,
to
don't
the
make me.
first.
Please.
No. Okay, so moving on to ordinance 14-2026, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of a certain property owned by the borough and not required for public purposes, and more commonly known as Block 40414, Lot 39, 124 Jefferson Trail. Can I have a motion to open to the public?
I'll make the motion second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So the meeting is open for this ordinance and this ordinance alone. Does anybody have a comment about the sale of the property for 124 Jefferson Trail? Not seeing anything, motion to bring it back.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Can I have a motion to pass the ordinance
Motion.
Second.
and the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to old business, we have cannabis first. Did you have an update, Ron?
The cannabis ordinance is in front of the land use board. The land use board is going to make a recommendation to either form a committee or I don't know what they're going to do. You know, we're going to put it on old business of next meeting and address it. They've got it. Everybody's had a chance to read it. It was an introduction so everybody could read it, get a feel for it, and then the land use board will come back and make a recommendation.
I just have a question. So the land use board meeting, which I wasn't able to be at for May 19th, the audio was out.
I know.
Just for that part of the meeting, just for the cannabis section of the meeting. So, what did the land use board actually discuss about cannabis?
Very little. The engineer did most of this talking, said, here's the recommendation from the council to change the master plan to allow cannabis in the borough of Hopatcong. And so the land use board took it in and got all the information from the engineer about what the process is from going through reviewing, making recommendations or not, or approving the ordinance or not, or whatever that is, possibly forming a committee. But here's the ordinance. Everybody go read it and we'll bring it back to the next meeting. So that was about it.
This now is pushed off until next Tuesday, correct?
Mhm.
Which is the next land use.
You're
board
gonna
meeting?
see, this will be probably several iterations of this at the land use board, if I had to guess. I can't tell you what the response of the land use board is gonna be. We haven't heard it.
Right. Okay.
So,
So when we talk about like the budget and offsetting all those, revenues and all the tax increases, there's the potential for this to offset those. And I just am worried that this is going to be dragged out for another 6 months.
I don't know. I've never been down this road to change a master plan, so I know where it's at. It's where it needs to be, and that's in front of the land use board.
There is one other thing to consider, and I don't know if this is gonna be wildly popular, and I know we talked about doing a referendum, and everybody's fairly certain that the referendum, to do a referendum on cannabis, that the number of people that are going to be for it is going to be very high. We may want to consider that, and the reason I say that is when you take a look at Stanhope, right, they have 2 retail licenses, then 2 year or 2 years, I forget what the number is, they still haven't gotten anybody in. I think a referendum, if it did come out high, would actually be a very good thing to get the interest in some of the cannabis companies to come our way if they know that if they have a majority of the residents that want it. So you may want to consider that because it could be very helpful in terms of attracting organizations to come to a PACCON. Now, of course, that comes up in November, but I would recommend that we continue the work that we need to do in order to create the ordinance for it anyway. But
I think
just
the
a
referendum
thought.
has already passed.
Well, I don't think it's even feasible for us to consider it because we couldn't get a single survey question together for over 8 months. So to get a referendum question together is a whole other feat. So I think let's just keep continuing through the process. Sorry, Joe, I cut you off.
No, you're good. Yeah, I think that's what Anthony's saying, is we're gonna continue on the process, but get it on the ballot for November, right?
Right.
Getting it on the ballot is completely different than, and we should probably have another discussion, about it since it just got brought up, but, putting it on the ballot is completely different than putting a survey on Facebook or sending out a survey. It's every single person in town is aware that the question is on the ballot and they have the ability to come and vote for it or against it.
And if I recall, I think that if you do it in an election cycle, there's no cost to the town, right?
We have to prepare the question.
Right.
We have to pay somebody to prepare the question.
The
for the
attorney,
ballot.
the attorney prepares the
You don't
question.
pay for like
The
a
extra-
special.
Yeah,
right.
$65,000 for an election, right?
Yeah.
Unless we don't have
It has
the
to be
question
in.
ready by
If we're
August.
gonna do that, we gotta get that to the clerk's office by the end of August at the latest.
And I think to your point, Anthony, is that it's to not only gauge the interest of the town, but also the retailers to say, hey, Opaka wants this and we're gonna get
Right,
it.
exactly.
Is that
Sure.
something, Mr. Lavery, you've advised us before to hire or retain a specialized cannabis attorney, correct? So is that something we'd have to work with them on to formulate a referendum question around cannabis?
No, I mean, the referendum is pretty straightforward.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You want to keep it as simple as possible so that you don't need an interpretive statement, So, I mean, that's up to you. They're pretty straightforward.
And I gotta be honest, I think that the referendum suggestion is just a way to keep dragging this, like beating a dead horse.
I figured you would think
Yeah,
that.
I really do.
I just want to put it on the record that in no way was it to do that. I'm just putting another option out there to help get something accomplished. So you can sit there and smirk about it all you like, Councilwoman
Well, you
Johnson.
can say that
but
you're not stalling it, but you clearly are, and you've been stalling it for a year, so.
I haven't been stalling it at all.
Okay.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about stalling or not stalling. We can certainly have a future discussion about having a referendum question in reference to cannabis, ready for the, election in November, before the end of August. You have all that in the notes.
Does the council have to approve the question or does it just get written up?
Yeah.
So is it, are we able?
I mean, I think if we were gonna draft it, we would make sure we circulate it, make sure everybody understands it and thinks that it's simple enough and is unbiased, and just. I mean, because really you want the public to be able to understand it, keep it as short as possible so that it's easy to understand and that way it's a fair assessment when people vote on it. But yeah, we'd certainly have everybody take a look at it.
Does anybody else have to see it, Ron, or just council before it gets?
Just council, you're the ones that will approve to go on the ballot.
So when we do both, I mean, we have one path towards the land use and another path is to the voters in November. If we get the land use approved before, they'll be just ready to
Yeah, I think we just have everything
wind up.
lined up, right, everything ready to go.
Okay. Moving along to the gas tax escalator. I was asked to put this on the agenda by Jen.
I forgot the short-term rental stuff under new business, under old business.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robin. I completely forgot about the short-term rental. I went right to new business. Moving on to old business, we moved the Airbnb. We had the letter and the discussion from Robin DiLorenzo earlier. As you recall, earlier this year, we put together a new ordinance for Airbnb short-term rentals because of all of the issues that we were having throughout the borough, the trouble that we were having with enforcement, garbage, police calls, and all of the random fees that were coming up from the borough. I know that there was a phenomenal amount of work done inside the administrative staff, Courtney and Shauna both included, in researching other municipalities around us, other municipalities in New Jersey, shore towns, and towns that are around the lake. So we formulated an ordinances, which is where we came up with the ordinance that you're making the comment about. So we have had several people that have discussed that part of the ordinance specifically about the owners not wanting to be on premises. We've had realtors that have approached us that said, look, people aren't going to buy homes to invest in, to be able to do an Airbnb if they have to be on the premises because they might live in another state. They might not be around, something to that effect. We're kind of just looking to, I put it on specifically just to kind of get a flavor to see what everybody was thinking, because we can always have Ron and admin go back to see if there's anything in place that we can do. I do love Robin's idea of, finding people and doing things like that, only because these people are not from our community. A lot of the trouble that gets started in these neighborhoods and these Airbnbs are from people that aren't from the area.
And I'm motivated by money.
And again, money will stop them from, doing a lot of different things, that's for sure. So just looking to see how everybody feels so that we can have them start doing a little bit more research, or if you like it the way it is, we can keep it the way it is.
So I've been trying to push this Airbnb ordinance for a good portion of my 12 years being as a chief in the fire department. Because I was always concerned regarding pulling up the scene and looking at the small, lakefront home and then having 12 people, 15 people, be in that, home. From that aspect of it, being a neighbor, having a Airbnb across the street, 95% of the time was not an issue. One time I pulled in there was 4 tents put outside in the parking lot. There was like 15 cars. So, it was a community concern, and I definitely see the value of someone living or managing a property. But after spending quite a few hours discussing with emails that we received and phone calls and everything else, I am in favor of adjusting the amendment for, potentially an investor, potentially fines, yanking the license away. It is a source of income, so it's got to be a win-win situation, but we certainly don't want to create a nuisance to our neighbors where they feel like helpless because so as long as we maybe have a committee meet up and just kind of come up with these are definitely a good suggestions, Robin, and we'll definitely take that with it and then just modify ours to reflect that. I'm certainly in favor of that.
Yes, I gotcha.
So I think that the other part is too, so this ordinance was made, the original ordinance was made in 2022, and then it was changed because it used to say the owner had to be on the property. And then we said a caregiver, it had changed to a caregiver on the property. And I remember during those meetings, you in the audience actually used Jersey City's ordinance for short-term rental is spectacular, right? It's a spectacular ordinance. It needs to be looked at and really heavily considered. The issue that I don't have a problem with looking at the ordinance again and changing it, but we have all of these things, a noise complaint, have enforcement. So we can say every fine is $12,000, but if we don't have somebody enforcing them, then it's for naught. Then why have the ordinance at all? Why change the ordinance? Why, you know what I'm saying? So that's the main issue, is the enforcement of the rules that we're setting up.
That's what we're setting up. We are going to enforce that. And
But we have them now when they're not enforced.
Not what she's asking for.
just because we have it and it's not being enforced doesn't mean we should just go away not doing that.
I'm not saying
So
that.
last year, there was a big push to start like logging in, and we have a chart, like all these rentals or Airbnb short-term. Before, it was none of that. You had ordinance created in 2022.
We had a deep base for our Airbnbs, absolutely 100%. Did everybody register? No. What happened to the people that didn't?
There was nothing, because I asked for a printout, they had nothing.
There were
spent
9
last
houses
year.
on the list. There were 9 houses on the list. There was a
Go back
registry.
and forth, like, I think, like the talkers, I think there's a, like, we could make this adjustment, and yes, enforcement has to be there, just like with anything, right? That's why we have cops, that's why we have construction officials. If we're not gonna enforce it, then it means nothing.
So let's look at it. But I think the backup part of that needs to you need to look at the enforcement piece of it, because what's the point of changing it and making it stricter if it's not gonna be enforced?
I just think, just to answer on that, Jen, I think when it comes to the enforcement, 99.9% of these things, they call the police. And every time they call the police, whether it's for garbage, whether it's for somebody parking in front of their house, whether it's they think there's too many people in the property, the police file an incident report. So we do have the incident reports. We have been utilizing those. We do have violations that we just issued for people who are not licensed for Airbnb that are doing Airbnbs. If you recall in this ordinance, we are collecting a percentage of every sale of the Airbnb, which allows us now to be able, Airbnb does that directly with the Borough of Hopatcong. So if we're receiving money from an entity that is not registered as an Airbnb, we know it because we're getting money for a building that's not registered as an Airbnb. So our enforcement this year has been a lot better up to this point than it was. Can it get better? Of course. And can we amend it to make it amenable for everybody? Sure. I am interested in looking at the Jersey City one because I don't think that we looked at Jersey City. We were trying to look at things that were on a lake community so that we weren't, trying to, punish people for things that they shouldn't be punished for, but make sure we were enforcing what needed to be enforced similar to what ours is. So that's where the enforcement came in. We have a lot more enforcement tools with the new ordinance that we have. And can we improve it? Possibly, but I think we should definitely hear. How do you feel, Jonathan?
I think we should look at it. It doesn't hurt to look at it.
Okay.
I think a big part of it too, with the residents themselves, like zoning and PD can go out all they want, but they have to get the call first. So I think residents are sometimes hesitant to call the non-emergency line because they're like, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. I don't want to bother the police. They have real emergencies. But from a tracking perspective, like the PD will make the determination of what they're dealing with and what they can and can't respond to at that moment in time. But people have to call it in order for somebody to go out and take a look at what's actually going on.
Couldn't we put something on the website where somebody could just report it on the website also?
And where does it go?
I have 4 neighbors call me regarding the
No,
problem with
they could be
Airbnb.
like
So you think they have a problem, like not calling the police? They'll call police.
No, but it's a general statement, like fireworks. A lot of people are like, I don't want to bug the police with this, but I think the residents have to be reinforced. If you want something dealt with, you can call the non-emergency line as a step 1, and then they will respond. So maybe, yeah, like Jonathan said, maybe it's just a reminder that we say, hey, listen, this is what you do to report something. So.
No, Anthony.
Well, I think, we took our first pass of the ordinance. We're getting, some good feedback. I think we should take that feedback into account and really relook at that again and see if we can't make changes that are beneficial, to the residents and as well to the people in the Airbnb. I mean, if that's successful, it helps the town in a lot of different ways. So it's a balance, right? We need to stay on top of that. So
Joe, I believe you were in favor of.
Yeah, I am. So, Robin, you bring up a good point about the residents being on the property, right? My parents have a summer house in LVI and in the town of Harvey Cedars. It's not an ordinance that the homeowner has to be there, but my parents are a little bit stubborn. So when they rent their house, they stay on a level. So it does make the renting a little bit harder, right? Because you don't want to be patient with the homeowner there watching you. I think that's my mom's way of having my dad stop renting, but conversation for another day. I do agree that probably needs to go. I think there's a lot of things on the printout that you handed out here. I love the Scottsdale fines and consequences. I'm a big proponent of fines. I think one, it's a revenue stream for the town, but also a deterrent. If you want people to follow the rules, you have to hit them in the wall. I also like the Atlanta ordinance with the licensing ban for a year. So I think we could take maybe a hybrid approach from some of these things that we like and parallel with the Jersey City ordinance and tweak it. Right to Anthony's point, we gave a first pass at it. We're getting good feedback and yeah, all in favor.
Okay, so we'll let Ron and everyone else continue to do a little bit more research on things we have here and the possibility of removing that part of the ordinance moving forward, right? Okay. That works. Okay. Now moving on to new business, we have the gas tax escalator. Jen asked to put this on her emails here and the copy of the resolution from Rob Kovic is here. I wanted to put this on a new business because it is something that is new. I did run it by the municipal attorney. We really need to think about something before we do this. This is something that our municipality benefits from greatly. Just looking at the award that we have tonight is $179,000. The transportation fund, as much as I hate to pay taxes, the transportation fund is one of the only funds where the funds come directly back to the municipalities, whether it's for bridge work or road work, but it's related to transportation, the costs of transportation. So I just wanted to say, if anybody's really interested in doing this, which we don't have to do it if you don't want to do it, if this is just a suggestion that I know came from Rob Kovic. I know he's been giving it to other municipalities and counties and things like that. I just curious what everybody's thought process was, because as much as we want to repeal the gas tax, it's not going to happen, and it's certainly not going to happen from a resolution that HOPACON does. But I would hate to put something in that would actually hurt us in the long run, because we do utilize the money from the gas tax.
Can you just give us an overview, Jen?
Yeah, can I explain what the gas test, what this is?
Well, I think with the way I was looking into this, it's more like the accountability than the escalator. I think the governing body put this in place 10 years ago, I believe.
Yep.
Because they want it automatically, so it doesn't have to come up on the floor every time the NJDOT wants increase of like gas and expenses.
Right.
So it just goes automatically. It's $10,000 increase. Nobody votes on it. Nobody gets jammed up on it. So it's more like, I think that's an issue than the tax itself.
So you're not
Because-
repealing the tax. What you're
Yeah,
repealing is
because
the ability for the, for the,
it's automatic.
right? In so many words, for the CFO of the state to just raise taxes without a vote from the legislature.
Well, no, the CFO raises the taxes because the DOT tells her they need $5 million operating budget.
But then
and
she can
does
do
it.
that
$5
automatically.
million, it's
Right.
automatic. Instead of going to the governing body and they vote individually, so they make her say, Jen voted for yes, and she voted for no.
So
That's
all this does is say, we don't want it to be automatic anymore. We want the legislature to vote on it every time it has to be increased. That's what this is. I think that having some accountability in the legislature, especially when it comes to our state taxes, which go up every single year, it does not affect our grant dollars because we still have to apply for the grants. It's just basically telling the legislature, we want them to have to vote on it and holding them accountable.
That's what I got out of that.
Yeah,
And-
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to put it on another agenda, maybe for the first July meeting, just to show support for, and anything that needs to be changed. I know you've had it for a month and a half since April.
Yeah,
You don't see an issue with it?
no, it's policy decision, really not.
So
Yeah, I just think it's accountability.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything to do with anything, so.
we're not
We don't have
repealing
any
a
other-
tax. We're not
We don't
repealing-
have any.
Well, you're not gonna repeal.
No, you're not gonna repeal a state tax.
Andover, Wantage. I know it was sent over 200 municipalities, and I think, I haven't checked recently, but Montague and Andover Township passed it so far, but I don't know if there's been any recent ones. I know who adopted it.
But again, I'm gonna use Joe's phrase. I don't care what the other municipalities are doing. I think that, if we want to do it, we should do it.
And it's an ask. It's not saying it's gonna happen.
Because that's right. It's just showing support for the legislature, having some accountability.
Well, I think that we should, I think that if that's the case, I think that we should probably make it our own as opposed to what's here. So maybe we can come up with something in between now and the next meeting.
And then we'll have it on the next agenda. Does that
Okay.
sound good?
Everybody's good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a motion to open?
Oh, wait, I had something else. I actually had.
Yeah, on that same topic, if, I don't know what percentage of other municipalities are actually voting for, it would be interesting to know the ones that aren't voting for, why. I mean, it doesn't sound like there's
Do you
much.
want me to have that information for you? I can get that information for you.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
I can actually email it to you.
Yeah.
In between now and the next meeting, since we have a month, I'll get
Well, I
that.
would email it to the entire.
Well, no, that's what I meant. I'll email it to everybody. I'll email it to everybody. So I had two things for new business. One of them came up literally today. If you want me to start there, because I think it's, that to me is a little bit more of a pressing issue. I got a phone call from a builder in town who applied for a variance to build a home on Madison Trail. It was approved through the land use board with the public water and public sewer in August. We went into a moratorium. He actually mailed in the check for the water hookup on November 6th. That check was cashed. We just then went into a moratorium on November 24th, where nobody's allowed to hook up to public water anymore. Nobody informed the builder that there was a moratorium on the water or on the water. He built the house and is now being told that he cannot hook up to water. The house is built. It's a beautiful house. And he wants to know what his recourse is. He will have to basically destroy the house. There's no way that he can put in a well in this area with the amount of rocks and the way that the house was built and the wires. I spoke to him for about 45 minutes today. So I need to know where to send him in order to help him resolve this. Because it's quite an issue, I think. If the house wasn't already built, I would, and he was notified, hey, you can't hook up to the water, that's a different thing. But the house is built. So that's my first issue.
When did he originally go for the permit?
August, he was
August
approved
of what
in
year?
August 25. He paid the water fee in November 6th. And then he built the house. And then when he went to go for the hookup, they told him, you can't hook up.
Did you try going through Ron, the administrator?
I think he's reached out for everybody.
I guess he didn't tell you, we spoke in the parking lot for about 30 minutes after he blocked me in my parking spot today to talk about it. So I told him to give me a week. We'd talk with the engineer and find out if there's any offset that we can look to help this. Why he contacted you, I'm not real sure, but we had a very candid conversation in the parking lot this afternoon. And I told him our engineer is in Alaska right now. So I said, look, I can't do anything. So give me a week and I'll get back to him.
Perfect. Okay.
This sets up a huge issue for the construction department and for the water utility. We've got a shortage of water in this borough. We don't have enough water. If we continue to let this one do it versus this one do it, not this one or this one, I gotta have some guidance of what that decision point is going to be going forward.
And I agree with you 100%, but this is where I'm caught up, because now this is the second time in a month that we have gotten a payment for water hookup, and they have not been notified of the moratorium. Now, the first one was no big deal because it's a house with an existing well that can dig a deeper well or another well. This is now a new home that has been built based on the approved plans from August. And I think that if you're gonna make an exception.
The request went in today for all permits that have been paid for. So I have a listing of all those people that have.
That was gonna be my next question.
What is being done.
As how many do we have to refund?
I don't know yet.
You're on it though, is what you're telling me.
Yes, I am.
The unfortunate thing is our water system is aging. Our water system is old. There are sections of it that are almost 100 years old. Because of the situations, and you're all aware, you've seen it on Facebook, you've heard the messages. We do have issues with the water. When the water is going down now, the tanks are going down, which is ruining the pressure for other areas. That hasn't happened in the history of Hopakon. The first time we had the issue with the water in November of 2024, there is not an incident documented here in over 60 years that ever happened. So there is a change that's happening with the water, whether it's the aquifer, whether it's whatever it is, it's definitely happening. We know we have issues with the water system. To protect the water system and the existing water customers, which are our responsibility, the engineer has put a moratorium on new hookups for water. We want to be able to maintain the water for the people that are receiving it and not necessarily give it out to other people, because we don't really have it to give out to other people. We don't want to affect the municipal customers. The unfortunate thing is we've already said no to a homeowner who had a home that wanted to hook up. This is a home that just got built. There's nobody living in it, and he's asking to have his house hooked up. So we're going to run into a lot of problems here, because hooking up a house with nobody in it, as opposed, which we'd love to get on the tax roll, because that's what we talk about all the time. Getting him on the tax roll is very important to us, but also the resident that we said, no, you can't hook up to the water because we don't have the water, but he has a home with a family and kids in his house and he needs the water hookup because he is having the issues with his well. We told him no.
Right, but he can drill another well. This person cannot drill a well where he is based on the plans that were approved by the land use board.
And we
Right.
took money.
That what? And we, well, and we took the money and we took the money.
You know, and any
But
more of
that's-
this discussion should really take place in executive, because, you know, we could end up litigation over this. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but. You know.
Right. That's right. And then the other thing was, I brought this, Jefferson passed a resolution and the county actually passed a resolution that I think Ms. Fernandez was referring to is, I'm sorry. Have enough. I'm sorry. Supporting the Assembly Bill, 4860 for the Fairness for School Districts and Development Restricted Areas Act. I was actually asked to bring this in today. The county has passed it and they're asking for our support in passing it as well, but making it obviously HOPACon. So I wanted to discuss that. It is on the school board. The next meeting for our school board is going to be passing it in June, at the end of June. Their meeting is the 22nd. Is going to be also on their agenda as well for passage. So I was looking to.
Is the school passing this?
The school is passing it, we're passing it. It's basically giving support to this bill. It's saying the municipalities in this area want fair funding and we want our legislators to support this bill.
So I've had email back and forth with Jennifer about this, and I had said, can we have the resolution from the school board passing it? Because we felt it was inappropriate for the municipality to pass it without getting the passage of the school first. So we were waiting to put it on the agenda until then, and I think I had put that in the email too. We were waiting to get, I think you were supposed to get me the one from the school that you had said. So this really isn't a new business item because we've been talking about it. So
and then I spoke with somebody from the county on Monday and they had said to me, the county has passed it and it would show better if we passed it in.
Oh, no, of course,
with
we
the
were
county.
waiting for the schools, since it affects the schools, to be the first entity in HOPACon to pass it. We don't want to take away their thunder of passing it before we do, because we're just following and giving the school support. Having the school,
I think
having the school do it first.
Support, period. I don't think they care.
Well, we have a difference of opinion on that. We were waiting for the school to pass it first because we've actually had this discussion before. So we will actually make resolutions, a resolution for this that will actually fit HOPACon as opposed to the county and Jefferson's.
Well, yes, of course, just giving you an example.
Okay.
But I wanted to see if we wanted to put it on the next agenda, since it is the July agenda and the school will be passing it on June 22nd.
Yeah, so what I'll do is we'll give this to Mr. Lavery, and Mr. Lavery can make it HOPACon's own, and then we can have it on the agenda.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, can we have a motion for public comment?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? The meeting is open to the public on the agenda and anything off the agenda. Open to public?
I have much to say. Michael Gervais, 48 Puffs Trail. So much to say, but I don't want to waste anybody's time. I'll just keep it very simple. I'm not going to go into granular details. You made some good points. Joe, you made some good points tonight. Jennifer, you made some good points. Mayor, you spoke well on a few things today. I appreciate it. You all did great. I'm just addressing some few things to be a little succinct. Call me kumbaya guy, I don't know, but you guys got to figure this out. This is like, I'm getting tired of coming to these meetings. This is catty, it's childish. It's like, if you can't walk, how do you expect to run? If you can't communicate, how do you expect to actually pass legislation, pass the items? Like, it's getting frustrating. I'm going to keep coming to these meetings. I'm going to keep coming up here and say, work together, play nice until it happens. I'm a taxpayer. This is our town. Let's do better. Like, this is embarrassing.
Thank you.
People in a situation, Pete. I'm kind of in the same vein as Michael there. It's just a lot. It just doesn't seem like anything is getting accomplished, and it kind of goes to what I'm getting ready to speak on. with regards to this tax increase, right? So I went to both forums and I heard all of the candidates speaking, and something came up where Mr. Young brought up that there was a surplus for a lot of years. I believe it was like $6 million, if I have the numbers correct. And I'm just a little confused as to how we go from 6 million to where we're at now, because if the increase is on the health, right, and the tipping fees, right, that's what, 2-3 million?
Like 1.1, 1.2.
Whatever, right? It's not 6.
No, it's
So
not.
I'm gonna go back to the little paperwork, but I'm just a little, it hasn't been that long since Mr. Young was on the council. So I'm wondering, with all of those years that we did not have those increases, and I get what you're saying, I get what you're saying, right? We didn't have an increase, we didn't have upgrades or repair, but I know one thing, my road right here, Chickpea, was paved every year. It hasn't been paved in a while now, right? And I've been patiently waiting for a lot of things, right? So when we're talking about these services, I really want to see what services we're talking about with regards to those line items, because me personally, I'm not seeing them. And like, I see the county doing what they're doing, but locally, I'm not seeing, it's not equating. And I still, want my leaf pickup, right? I'm going to keep saying that. I've been saying it for 20 years. It ain't happening. But at the same time, where's the $6 million surplus? I get having a cushion, and I get that we don't have the money, right? It is what it is. We're just maintaining, staying afloat. Where is the cushion? Where did all that money go? Where did that money get spent? I'm more confused about that. So like, where I'm coming from, like the bickering, the cattiness, the smirk on her face, that wasn't called for. It was unnecessary. You could have said what you had to say and keep it moving, right? Some of this stuff is just high school shit, and you guys gotta like just do your job. Do what you're paid here to do. Do what we elected you to do. It's really that simple. It's not that hard.
I agree with you. I will say something regarding the fund balance though, too, because I looked at this just the other day. I don't have the numbers memorized in my head because there's been a lot of discussion, fund balance. Some people refer to it as a savings account, that we've been spending that money. And the difference in the fund balance between 2020 and today is about $17,000 when I looked at it. So the town has done a very good job of maintaining the fund balance. We are not spending unnecessarily or doing things that are detrimental. The financial position of the town is actually quite good, but what we're really, the focus is on making sure the financial position of the town stays in a good place. We do certainly agree that, it's very unfortunate that we've had 2 significant tax increases in a row.
But if there's $6 million worth of tax increases, you understand? If that administration was able to.
It was 3 million and roughly 3 million.
Okay, 3 million.
In these 2 years. But, there is a lot of reasons for that. And I think we've spoken about, many of the big ones. And I do agree, trying to really keep that within check is incredibly important. And we hope that next year we're not in the same position, and there's no reason to think that we will.
Personally, I think we will. If we're got a 9% or 6%, whatever it is, it absolutely, the costs are not going down.
Well,
I'm an insurance agency. Inflation is every single year. Costs are not decreasing. So my thing is, they're absolutely, you're sitting there saying they're not. They absolutely are. I absolutely.
Listen, I'm not saying costs are increasing. I'm saying that we are dealing with them as best as we possibly.
And I'm not saying that you're not.
Right.
That's not my argument.
I get it.
All right. So I need you to listen, right?
I get it.
That's not my argument. My argument is what has happened between then and now to where we're just making it. Like, I want to know that. So kind of the point with the line item, I would like to see that just to compare from previous administrations to see what we're doing, what we're missing, what can we cut, what can we not cut. I heard the auditor's report and I get what you're saying. He said it, I get it, right? But what's so different now than in 2020 to 2026? And I get the costs are increasing. We know the main places where they are and where we're getting hit at, but it just, for me, I'm a numbers girl. I need to see it. You know what I'm saying? So I can say, okay, this makes sense, right? We need to cut this, we need to cut that. Okay, would this has stayed the same, but the costs have increased here? Those things make sense to me. But if I don't know what I'm saying, you're just talking at this point. And my last thing before I go sit down is I missed the last meeting because I had some better things to do than I'll be honest. But what is the update on the ordinance for the ICE resolution? I don't see it on this agenda, and I did see it on the last week's, I think it was the last agenda. I'm just wondering what the update, has it been tabled? Has it been voted on? Like what's the?
It was just tabled.
Okay, because it's not on old business.
Right.
I didn't see it.
Right. Just Q, you have the ability to Oprah the audits for Hopacon.
I got
So-
time for all that. Just same thing you tell me to sue for my
But
grinder
again,
pump
but
and.
again, that has every
Listen.
single thing in it for you.
I hear you, and I'm just not that girl. I'm not that person. I have a busy schedule, busy life, very full, very active. So I'm coming down to ask questions. You know, somebody else got time for that. Have at it.
Mhm.
All right. And just like I'm not suing you for my grinder pump. Y'all owe me $5,000. I quit. I'm gonna eat those costs because I ain't getting nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So no, I'm not gonna sue the town. My name is not Kathy Bone. All right, so I mean, it is what it is.
Okay, thanks, Q.
I just want to clarify something. Jen, when you first started talking, I thought we were talking about the same resolution, but we're not. Yours is the Jefferson Township School. The New Jersey School of Conservation is different. The governor cut the funding for that too. And the county commissioner passed the resolution to try and get the governor to give that money back. And they're asking for towns to support their resolution. And they're also asking for people to go on the website and generate the letters to flood her office to see if we can get her to give, if not all of the money back, some of the money back so that they don't have to close up shop. But I just wanted to make
Thank
sure
you.
that you knew it was two different things.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Lynn Ritchie. I started bringing up the cannabis in January of 2025. And I think I talked all of 2025 about it. I started talking about it in 2026. And basically I'm giving up because we missed, in my opinion, the window. All of the boroughs around us are having their little cannabis dispensaries, but we blew it. We blew it bad. And now to hear that we're going to put it on a referendum for November means we're going to go into 2027. So I've never seen a council sit here and kick revenue out the window. Just shut it down for whatever reasons. And I think it's pretty bad. Secondly, March 31st, there was a federal filing for the PFAS that the borough had the opportunity to file for the town's water and get the first phase of the funding of the DuPont 3M lawsuit. Many boroughs are announcing their windfall of what they've gotten. I've heard nothing of what our borough has had other than a confirmation that our PFAS attorneys are seizing every opportunity for the funds. Well, those funds were announced already for the March 31st date. If you do not file July 31st for this windfall lawsuit that the federal government has, you're done. There's nothing you can do past that point. I see nothing about PFAS being mentioned to any private well owner other than the ones that are reading it on the internet or maybe seeing it on the website or in a Facebook post. But the town has a water problem. This is money that's coming in that you can apply to your old pipe infrastructure systems and all of that. But to have a threshold of March 31st date go, I don't believe the borough filed That's my personal feeling, because if you had filed and you did get 5 million, 1 million, 100,000, I think it would have been broadcasted to the public. And that's where I'm losing confidence. I don't know who your PFAS attorneys are, but I am happy they're on top of it. But where's the money from the March 31st filing? Because East Amwell took their money and they applied it to the private citizens of East Amwell who have private wells, and they offered them the $638.92 for their tests, because not everyone can afford to have it done. Now I'm hearing the borough wants to make every homeowner who did their PFAS mitigation through the spill fund get a permit. Well, I just sent an email to the spill fund asking, if I get a permit, are you going to reimburse me for the permit? And their response was, you don't need a permit. So you're threatening homeowners, saying you don't get a permit, you can't sell your house. So I think the spill fund, the contractors who are working for the spill fund, and our construction department or zoning department or whoever is doing this need to get on the same page. Because I'm not going to get a permit. Have your inspector come out and look at equipment, because it's just looking at equipment. There's nothing moving. And then tell me, oh, we closed your permit. Now I'm going to set an assessor out and I'm going to assess you on your mitigation, your remediation that you had done that I didn't pay a penny for. I did it because the state paid for it. And it doesn't make any sense. So this whole runaround about the cannabis, the runaround about, yeah, we're on top of the spill fund filing and all of this crazy stuff. Where's the follow through? As a constituent, I want to know what we got in March. How much money did we get when all you're telling me we have to fix them? I'm just baffled, completely baffled, baffled.
Not seeing anything, motion to bring it back.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? The only mayor's comment that I have is I wanted to wish everybody a happy Father's Day. I neglected to do that earlier. And that was really all that I had. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Wait, can I just ask one question? Mayor? Did we did vote on the cap bank, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Just wanted to
Yes,
make
we
sure.
did.
Spare me.
Well, I need a motion for these two to go on the agenda, or they're gonna go on the agenda. We're good.
They're gonna go on the agenda.
Okay, perfect.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.